Dave Matthews from Spark of Life. We're on the number one key to a healthy grief recovery, number 7 today. We've had 6 number one keys, and go back and look at our previous just video bites, little clips that might give you some insight into living forward with your grief and with your pain. I know many of you out there have lost the dearest on earth to you. You know somebody who has, or you have yourself, and these grief keys are all really keys in that they all overlap. Number 7, the number one grief key, number 7, is recovery is a decision you make. It's not an emotion you feel. And I want that to sink in this morning for you, or this afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Grief is a decision. Recovery is a decision you make, not an emotion you feel. I can have all sorts of emotions. It's important to feel what I feel and to admit it and to validate it and let yourself experience those waves of grief. It's a messy business, grief recovery. We know it's messy. It's not a straight line. But recovery is a decision you make. You know, when I experience loss, those emotions are going to come. It doesn't mean I'm a weak person. When a bomb goes off outside, I'm going to experience emotion. I'm going to experience fear and confusion. But it's really what I do with that. I give myself to have it, to have those emotions. I give myself permission to grieve. I realize there's not something wrong with me that needs to be fixed. Grievers need to grieve, right? They need to grieve. So the 7th essential tip, number one tip, is recovery from loss is a decision you make, not an emotion you feel. I've got this exquisite drawing. Can you see this? Okay, it hides my face. That's pretty good. Oh, there it is. Okay. This is art 003 or something. It's beginning art. What do you see there? What do you guys see there? Well, you see somebody that's in jail, right? And if you can look closer, he has a sad face. But what's interesting about this person in jail? What's interesting about it? What's interesting about it? I didn't hear you. Okay, what is it? This guy could get out of jail, but he, for some reason, wants to stay in jail, or he thinks he can't get out, or he thinks he doesn't deserve to get out. We use this in our retreats all the time as part of my training in grief recovery, being a specialist in grief recovery, 32 hours of training by the Grief Recovery Institute. They use that illustration, and I really like that illustration. I've seen it before in other places too. What is this person? He's a neutered person, or she's not neutered. It's a he or she. What do they have to do to get out of that jail? Well, they have to believe they can get out. All he has to do, or she, is let go of the bars, right, and step out of jail. Maybe they feel so guilty that they don't deserve to get out of jail. Or perhaps they don't realize that all they have to do is let go of the bars. In other words, they got to make a decision. A psychologist was telling this joke one time. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? The psychologist thought for a moment, and he said, it's an old joke, by the way, he said, 1, but the light bulb has to be willing to change. I'll repeat that if you missed it. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? 1, but the light bulb has to be willing to change. The light bulb has to make a decision to change. I don't always feel like doing what I need to do, but I can have a healthy recovery, and I can decide to do that. And then, along with giving myself permission to grieve, I also give myself permission to recover. So that's the essential grief tip of the day. For more information on all this, we have our podcast coming out, and we'll have podcast on each of these things, like 20 minutes on discussing these vital areas. Go to sparkalife.org for further help. Our heartbeat is to walk beside those who are grieving. We want to be there with you. You're not alone. Check us out on sparkalife.org, where at Spark of Life, there's always, always hope.